Podcast. We are back for another daily edition of Photo Q&A, where we answer one of your photography questions every single day of the week, along with the help from my high school best friend, Paul, who's going to keep me on track and ask any clarifying questions if I get too technical or anything that the beginner photographer like yourself may not understand. Sometimes I just get into my head and get going pretty crazy. So if you have any questions that you want answered about photography or anything even related to photography, feel free to ask those questions. Submit your questions. You can do so on Instagram. Just comment on any of our photos. You can leave us a comment on Facebook. That's facebook.com/beginner photography podcast. Or just shoot us an email at beginnerphotographypodcast@gmail.com. And guys, if you like this episode and you get any sort of value out of it whatsoever, I would be forever grateful if you left us a review in iTunes or whatever podcast player you are listening to us on right now. That's it. Let's go ahead and get into today's question. Here we go again. It's another day. We got another question.
All right. Bryce wants to know, do you have any tips for someone who doesn't, I say again, does not want to start a photography business?
I got a ton of tips for people who are into photography who don't want to start a photography business. The first one being just don't do it. You don't have to do it. Like there's no rule book that says that if you own a camera and that you enjoy taking photos that you have to start a business. There's a lot of things about running a business or owning a business that I absolutely hate and that I loathe, I would say. Actually.
Like waking up and doing work.
Oh my God.
Paying bills.
Yeah. All of those things.
People.
No. It's things like talking to people.
Doing weddings.
Like, especially like this time of year, it's tax time, making sure that I have everything in order, right? All of my deductions, all of my equipment's depreciation schedules, recording all of my mileage that I drove in my car this year for photography related business. I don't know why that's so hard. Like I know that there's a lot of mileage tracking apps out there, but they're all garbage. I hate every single one of them. And there's things like that you just have to keep track of that make running a business kind of dumb, right? And it's not always the best. So if the idea of those things aren't exciting to you, or you just have really good benefits at your job and you don't want to leave, then just don't do it if you don't want to. That being said, if you are taking money to photograph people, or if people are paying money to you to photograph whatever they are asking you to, like cars or their animals or something like that, you do need to report that on your taxes legally, and you can do that as just personal income. And another thing is that this is one reason why I would highly recommend getting a CPA for tax time, is that you can let them know that this is a serious hobby for you, and there's a ton of things that you can deduct, and they should be able to help you out with that, which can get you a larger refund come tax time. So, and then that way you still don't have to officially form a business and go through all of that stuff. Which is cool, and I would envy a lot of people who can do that. But just keep photography fun. You know what I mean? If that's what it is that you want to do, then by no means do you have to start a business. But you can still have like a business page on Facebook. You can still run Facebook ads. Really, it comes down to like if you're making a living off of something, the business aspect of it is just in the eyes of the government, and they want to know how they are going to make money off of you making money. So if you can minimize all that as much as possible, do that. Would you want to form a business, Paul?
Of course I want to start a business.
I mean, okay, so let's just say real quick right here now that you own some welding equipment, right? And that you like to do odd jobs, and that you're getting a lot of people coming to you like, hey, I want this done, I want that one, and you're doing a really good job at it. What would you do to stop yourself from having to start a business?
Um, wouldn't take enough that it ate up all my time.
There you go. Yeah, that's very smart. That's
I would
smart.
just like no, because I go to work and then I come home and then I'm just in my garage burning all night. Uh, you know, if it got to the point that it became not fun, even though I was making a boatload of cash, then I
Dual
just
incomes.
yeah, I wouldn't do it. I would have to make the decision like, do I love it enough that I'm gonna quit my 9 to 5 and just do this all the time? But then if I felt like, well, then I might start to hate this thing that I love, then I'm not gonna do it. Then I would just really become pick like choosy. Maybe put in a roll cage in my sweet '97 Saturn SL1. You know, instead of taking a project to weld up somebody's trailer.
Now, do you think that you would? Do you think that you personally would rather do things that people are asking you for, like, hey, can you fix this? Hey, can you do that? Or would you rather like make things and then sell them later? Because this applies to photography as well.
I think I would rather fix stuff instead of make things and sell them because I wouldn't be able to think of stuff to make.
Oh, you could come up with a ton of stuff.
Yeah, I don't know. Like a bumper for a Wrangler.
I don't know. One time when I was a kid, I went with my mom when she got her oil changed, and the mechanics had like this. It was a little like I don't know 16-inch like figure, but it was made out of car parts. So like his body was made out of like the piston and the
I'm not an
piston rod.
artist.
Okay, fair enough, fair enough. But I mean, there's a level of creativity that goes into creating something or putting something together. So, but I see what you're saying and I understand. So that makes sense. So,
My creativity stops at the structural strength of something. I don't, I've pride in my weld, if we're just talking about welding, but I also understand like it has to be strong, how to make something rigid, how to reinforce it. Beyond that, I couldn't like make art.
fair enough. I understand. So, Bryce, I would say ask yourself that question too. Would you rather go out and shoot clients, or and get paid for the work that you're doing immediately, or would you rather go out and just enjoy nature and landscapes and animals, and then sell those photos later, like through licensing or stock photos and stuff? So,
Or just do the both, because if I was, doing stuff for myself or my friends because, their exhaust fell off their car and they want me to just weld it back up, like, of course I'm going to do that for them. And then at the same time, challenge myself because somebody wants me to build a headache rack for the pickup truck, you know, maybe I've never done one of those and I want to challenge myself to do that, make a little side cash, but I don't want to just sit there making headache racks 5 days a week, 365.
truth. Speaking of which, I have an income opportunity for you if you could weld me up a roof rack for my Jetta.
Okay, then you're going to pay for the shipping, right?
All right, that will do it for today's question. We will be back tomorrow. Guys, I hope that you liked today's question. I hope that it brought you value and some sort of actionable tip that you're going to be able to implement and put into your photography journey to advance you to wherever you want to be, whether it's just a hobbyist or if you really want to take your photography professional and open up some sort of studio or business to do so. I hope that you got at least one piece of information out of today's episode. And again, if you did, please, please, please give us a review in iTunes. That's all that I ask for. I ask for nothing out of you, out of this podcast. These podcasts take a lot of time to create, and I'm so happy to do so if you are going to take these tips and implement them to grow yourself, to grow your photography. So the only thing that I ask of you is if you could just please leave us a rating and review in iTunes or whatever podcast player or app you are listening to us on right now. Again, guys, if you have any photography questions or about anything photography related, feel free to send us an email at beginnerphotographypodcast@gmail.com. Reach out to us on Facebook, facebook.com/beginner photography podcast, or find us on Instagram, where you'll be able to keep up with us and all of our guests that we have on the podcast as well, and that is Instagram username Beginner Photo Podcast. That's all that I got for today. I hope that you guys get out there, shoot something fun, enjoy. I love you guys, and I will talk to you all tomorrow.